This is probably a familiar sight in most living rooms. I think I even have about 6 in my family room. Remote controls. You've got all these gadgets now. They all need separate controls to control them. And, you know, for a lot of people, that gets confusing.
It does. And so what we're going to do is we're going to show you something today. It's a universal remote control, and it's called the Harmony. It's made by Logitech. It's their 1000 model, and this thing is pretty amazing. First thing I noticed, there's no buttons on it. Well, there's a few controls here, but not nearly as many that you see on most of these remotes. And that's because they built it into an LCD screen, so it's a touch screen. And with this, as Mike said, you can control everything that's in your entertainment system, but it even goes further than that. You can control things like your rate. Anything that takes a remote, essentially, you can control with this thing.
Well, I think the one thing that I used to dread when I went on business trips is the tech support calls from the family.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all this home theater stuff, but it's not as easy as just turning on like the Xbox and the TV. A lot of times these things are hooked into, you know, your DVD sound system, and you know, it takes like a physics degree sometimes to make sure that you've got all the right things turned on. And I can't tell you how many times I've gotten that call, I can't watch a DVD. Something as simple as that.
Absolutely. And the one thing that you're seeing many of the universal remotes do now is they're getting away from turning on the specific device, and they're getting more into activities. For example, if you want to watch a movie, you just want to press a button. And you want that button to control a number of different things. You want it to set your screen to the best movie mode, so that might be 16:9 on your television. You might want the stereo system to change to theater mode so that you're listening to theater sound. And you might want your DVD player, obviously, to turn on and eject to be ready for the disc. And you can do all of that, as you can see on the screen here, through these activities. But you can take that even further as well. You can do things like play your game system. I'm going to play the Xbox 360 here, and I'm just going to show you how that works. If I look at the Xbox remote, is that here somewhere?
Yeah,
right there. What's kind of cool about that is if you compare this, it literally turns this thing into an Xbox remote control. You see the Y, B, A, X buttons there? I could literally play a game using this. You wouldn't necessarily...
Not that you'd want to.
Not that you'd want to, but the idea here is that now I can control the system, and with the Xboxes, especially the 360 today, it does more than just play games. It becomes part of your media center as well. So you can control it that way. But one thing that we did mention is that, like Mike said, the tech support issue. If something didn't work, for example, if one of the devices was on or one of the devices was left off, then you press the button and it's not quite working, you can go into this help mode. And I find that really useful because basically it takes you through this WYSIWYG kind of wizard here that says, did the Xbox you turn on, did that fix the problem? If you say no, it says, is your TV on? And if that didn't fix the problem, you can say no. And you can kind of go through and try to figure out what it is that you might have done wrong.
It's amazing, actually. It whittles down what the problem is, and then at the end, it actually figures it out and then sends the right codes to the devices again, and hopefully makes it all work. But from my experience, I've used these Logitech Harmony remotes for a while. It does seem to work. I guess the big strength, though, is programming this thing. You know, with a lot of these universal remotes, you have to, you know, enter in these special codes on the number pad.
Oh yeah, and you have to find that special code in the original's manual that came with your system and whatnot to look it up.
Well, this comes with a USB cable and connects up with the Logitech Harmony website. And what you do basically is set up a user account, and once you've done that, you start adding devices. And this is a nice thing. You don't have to then program the codes in. It does that automatically. And I'll show you what I mean. You can see up on the screen here, I've got up at the top here, activities, devices. And you can see my activities right now correspond with what's on the remote control at this moment. You know, watch a DVD, watch TV, even listen to the radio. This thing can be controlled by remote control as well.
Yeah.
And if I want to, I can go in and add another device, and it's pretty simple. I just go up to add a device, and let's say, for example, I want to add a computer, because a lot of people are hooking up media centers and what have you to their TVs now. It's going to ask what type, computer, laptop, even a media center PC. And that's a nice thing. It'll help control Windows media centers as well, which is a very popular type of computer to hook up. It'll ask what the manufacturer is, and I'm going to go down here. Let's just say it's an Acer. And you can see it's just really simple questions that anyone could get. It's going to ask me the model number, so I'm just going to say it's their cool computer. And I keep going. I just keep hitting that next button. And now it's asking me what control I want. And that's a cool thing. You could actually have multiple controls in your house, and this web interface will basically control it all. And once we're there, it's asking me if this is all correct. And I come in, keep going, and there we are. And after I go through all of this here, it's asking me to do some instructions here, make sure that the remote is connected. So it wants to actually learn this particular one. It doesn't always have to, but I finish this all up. I can then go hit the update button, and it starts sending all the codes to the device. Again, I don't have to sit there and enter any complex stuff in, it just simply works.
Absolutely, and we found that for the most part, you don't have to be the technical person. Like Mike said, it's pretty easy to get it set up, but it is one of those things where the more technical people are obviously going to have an easier time with this. But the idea is that once you've created your activities and you added all your devices, you simply just share it with your family, and hopefully they can just use the one remote.